firstly, I'd love to thank everybody for coming on our Alaskan cruise. The cruise was amazing. We had so many amazing speakers. A couple of them that I was totally inspired by was Maxwell Goddard, Andy and Natalie's son, who had the accident a few years back and now has become this most amazing inspirational speaker. And I'd love to thank Wallace Goddard, Andy's father, for sharing his words of wisdom, very, very inspiring on relationships. It was amazing. And then I'd love to just thank all the participants that were there on the Alaskan cruise, 108 of us, including families and about 20-something children, probably around 25, 26 children that came from the ages of from a few months old up until about 16, 17. And so it was really a family affair, which I feel was one of the most successful events because it wasn't a family affair. And it was a generational thing that I loved also. We had grandparents, we had parents, we had people that weren't married and didn't have children, but we had a whole cross-section of people that were participating in whatever way was possible. For example, the children, they went off to the kids club every day, and I was hearing from the parents that the kids had never seen their kids so excited to go to kids club or school. And they had this every day between a certain time right through until the afternoon, where their mums and dads picked them up and they went and had their lunch. So this was an incredible successful part of the cruise, because the parents then could attend the Mastermind and, collaborate with all of us, which was a really positive thing. I'd love to thank Andy and Natalie, Vanessa and Paul, and Jessie Reimers also for contributing financially and collaborating with Adish and I on this event. What else I found was extremely important was that there was lots and lots of new friendships formed on the cruise, whether it be at lunchtime or at breakfast time, at the meditation in the morning between 7 and 9. We had people from our own team attending. We also had a cross-section of other teams coming, which was fantastic because a lot of us didn't know some of the people that were on the cruise, and which made it also really interesting because they offered and shared so many of their gifts that we in one team don't really have. So there were many, many, many positives that came out of this, and for a first time event I was extremely proud, and I felt really in awe of everyone's participation and collaboration during the Mastermind, during our lunchtime events, just sitting over lunch, during our karaoke nights, every night up at the bar. There were always opportunities. There was another really brilliant event, which was the meeting of the men, who a lot of the men in doTERRA are actually just husbands that are supporting the wives. Some of the husbands have jobs still, some of them are still trying to work their way into the doTERRA business. And so having this opportunity to again interact with men that are in the same position as they are, and having men on the cruise that were already in doTERRA sharing their wisdom and how it was for them on the cruise was transforming for a lot of the men. And I could see that happening over the week, where they just came out more and more. And one example of that was Andrew from Mish's husband. He was just so amazing. And Ben Weiss, Haley's husband, and Keith Munro, Barrett's husband. There were so many, and Salim and Rihanna. It was just a very inspiring event, and I just am in awe of how we created this in such a short time. So then one of my takeaways, even though there were lots of takeaways, because we had the most amazing visual experience on the cruise, was actually when we were doing the Mastermind on the last day, where Natalie and Andy and Vanessa guided us through this process on finding out your own strengths. Yeah, and part of that process was to have your name on a piece of paper, which then was handed around the whole group, and each person in that group would just write down one word that was actually, that they saw in you, which was your strength, which I still have. And I find this this little exercise so powerful, because there were words in there that I just never would have allowed myself to even feel, let alone see it, yeah, or even think that of myself. And so there was these gems that were coming out. It showed me really a reflection of my own inner gifts that as a person on the path, or a person that really I forget that I have these gifts. And so that was just a beautiful reflection and a beautiful reminder. Just in finishing off my little video here, I just want to share that overall the incentive cruise to Alaska was really nice. We had a beautiful balance of going out off the boat every other day and going in doing some sort of project that you would like to do, or some sort of outing. I went on one outing with all the kids, which was fantastic for me because I just love being with kids. And we went out and watched the huskies, the husky dogs, and watched them training and how they operate in the snow, which was incredible. We went into a big cave, which was about minus 30 degrees, covered up in our big furry coats, looked at nature, which was spectacular. Incredible nature in Alaska, incredible. Very cold, but it was still very awe-inspiring. Went up to the glaciers and the wilderness and the nature, and that's just this amazing silence in the energy of the ocean and the sea and the glacier and the ice. The silence is just, you just don't get it back here in the cities. In saying that, it was a very beautiful balance. I'd also like to encourage, because we've been inspired to do another Mastermind incentive trip next year for diamonds and above, because it is a real beautiful opportunity to collaborate, not just with our team, but with our teams across the line, other teams across, with Indoterra. I'd love to grow it even bigger this next year so that more and more people can come. We're not sure where we're going. There's been talk of Hawaii, or, who knows? We might do another cruise. It's all the world is our oyster, and yet it's a real moment of giving back to our amazing leaders and their teams, because of the amount of work and effort that goes into creating a team and a business, Indoterra, from, especially at the ranks that we're talking about, diamond and above. And I really do love to honour that. And I know that Adish also loves to honour that. I know that Paul and Vanessa feel the same way, and definitely Andy and Natalie and Jessie. We all are leaders where we're already willing to give back. Stay tuned to find out where we're going. It will be a diamond and above incentive, and it just not sure which way, but we're definitely on the cards hearing about Hawaii. I personally love the cruise, but it's all a bit of the toss of the coin right now, because the world is our oyster, and really start to plan. Hopefully we'll be doing it on the back of a convention again. And so we'll stay tuned, everybody. Bye.